Hey folks, Jimmy here, aka Palette of the Dead. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to another Getting Started with the Age of Sigmar video. Now, as per usual with all these videos, if you like them, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and drop a comment down below. Love hearing back from you guys. It goes a massive way to helping out the channel too. Now, obviously we're going to finish off having a look at all the different factions within the Age of Sigmar and how you can get started with them. Now, the idea behind these videos is that you will have a budget of £200. Obviously, I am not spending £200 per faction because, yeah, my credit card doesn't stretch to that limit. So, this is all theoretical, so these are all army lists that I've looked at without trying to duplicate too many units, and the idea is that we kind of bulk them out as much as possible. Now, as I say, the idea is that we utilise the £200 budget. We're looking at Warhammer.com and the third-party retailer. The third-party retailer we're looking at is Element Games. Now, this isn't an ad for Element Games, so if you want to shop elsewhere, you've always got Goblin Gaming, Wayland Games, Leodis Gaming, or anyone like that. Have a shop around, find the one that's right for you. Some of them have loyalty schemes, so it's always worth looking out for. But with all that said, we need to crack on with this one. So, if you've not already been following these videos, we've already looked at the Forces of Order, the Forces of Chaos, and the Forces of Destruction. So we are left with just 4 factions left, and these factions make up the Forces of Death. So Nagashi's legions of undead, flesh eaters, ghosts and vampires are some of the most interesting minis GW currently make. So they're pretty good fun, and they also look like they have a good fun making some of these ones as well, because they seem to be left to their own devices and may be able to make some crazy ones as well. So pretty good stuff. Anyway, now, I'm actually going to start off with the only army that does not have a Vanguard box from the Forces of Death at the moment. Now, the reason it doesn't is because it's the one that's most recently had an update, and that's the Flesheater Courts. So it will get a Vanguard box at some point in the near future, or what they're going to be called now, I think Spearhead boxes. That comes out at some point. But for now, we're going to look at what's currently available. So, if you're going to kick all of this off, obviously you're going to want a hero unit. So I would actually take 2 hero units though. Firstly, I would have the Abhorrent Archregent. It came out a few years ago. It's a very nice mini though. I genuinely do like this mini. I have it, and it's probably the only, I think it is actually the only ghoul that I've actually ever painted. So really, really good stuff there. And then I would also take the brand new Royal Decapitator, which is an awesome mini, and it's only just been released. So if you're going to get the Archregent, £19, Decapitator, £22.50. Both equally good value for money for hero style units for the Flesheater Courts. So it's a really, really good start. Then we need to take battle lines. So I personally would take 2 boxes of Crypt Ghouls if you can get them. The only downside is there are a little bit of there's quite a few places that have no stock of it, so it can be a bit tricky. However, these are your general chaff units for the good old Forces of the Flesheater Courts, so there's not a lot to them, but they come in handy, so, you know, pretty good stuff there. Plus, 20 minis per box is pretty affordable. Then I would be taking a box of Crypt Guard. They are the newer version of the kind of Crypt Ghouls in a roundabout way. They have a nice little drummer lad following them, which is always good fun. They are the new sculpts, and they look pretty decent as well. Because they're the new sculpts, they look better than the older sculpts, so I would definitely take these guys for the fun of it. Then I'm actually going to take a Warcry Warband again for another faction, and that's the Royal Beast Flayers. They look really, really nice. They look pretty cool. They're very different. They have the new crazy looking Offal Hounds as well, which are pretty cool and pretty nifty looking and pretty unique looking. So I'll definitely take in a box of them. 10 minis is really, really good, and yeah, they're pretty good because all of the Warcry ones seem to have really good sculpts, in all honesty, at the moment. Then finally, I would actually take in a box of the Morbeg Knights. So these are 3 ghouls riding Night Shriekers. The Night Shriekers look very, very much like Vargulfs, who are pretty damn ace. So, you have that option. So that's a very, very good option. It's a pretty decent army. Now, obviously, there is going to be a Vanguard new Spearhead box for the Flesheater Courts in the near future. If you're going to go Flesheater Courts, it's worth waiting for that box, in all honesty. It should be, hopefully, £85. However, there are rumours that they're going to bump up these prices a little bit for them, and it's probably going to be the £90 to £95 region, which isn't as good for value for money, though. So, the current list, though, if you are going to take it, comes in at £196.50 from GW. If you're going to go to a third party, around about £167, and it has a points value of 970, only because it does not have that Vanguard box. So, it's Vanguard box if there was one, and it was at the right value, right price, you're probably talking closer to the 1,200 points up mark. So, and it would cost in the very, very, very closely to the same amount, in all honesty. So, pretty good stuff there. Then we're going to move on to another army. This is completely different. So, no flesh on these guys, because this is the Ossiarch Bonereapers. So, these chappies do have a Vanguard box, which gives us a Mortisan Soul Reaper, a Hulking Gothazar Harvester, 5 Cavalos Death Riders for that fast attack, and 20 of a Mortek Guard. It's a decent start to this army that consists of just bones and netherite weapons, and you know, you've got choices, so you can have spear or sword for the good old Mortek Guard, and you can do a little bit different with them, so that's pretty decent going. Now, I personally would then add in another box of Mortek Guard. So, if you were going to go for a unit carrying spears, you can go for a unit carrying swords now, so you can have the best of both worlds. Now, obviously that gives us 40 Mortek Guard overall, which is very, very nice, so it's pretty cool stuff. So yeah, I would definitely go with something like that. Then, for a bit more fun and frolics, I would take in some of the other Bone Boys in the shape of the Necropolis Stalkers. They have a unique look about them, with having 4 individual arms, meaning they can wield 4 weapons at once, or you know, a handful of big, massive, double-handed weapons, and such like. So they're very, very weird, very, very unique, and yeah, pretty decent looking at the same time. And then, in all honesty, lastly, I would just take a box of Morghast Harbingers. So, it's only 2 minis, so it's a bit pricey really, overall, but they look very, very cool. They have a nice uniqueness, they have alternative build options, so it's entirely up to you how you want to go about building them, but they are pretty cool for weird winged undead things. So yeah, not bad. Now, if you were going to buy this army, it's fairly smallish really, but it will still cost you £200 from GW. If you go into a third party, around about £176, and the army points value comes in at 1,160. It's a good starting point for the Bonereapers. There are some really cool additions that you can make later on, whether it's that catapult, more Cavalos Death Riders or anything like that. You can add more to it, so there's more options, and you never know what's around the corner. GW might decide to bring out more units to it, because every now and again they like to do that. So we never know what's going to go on, but it's a pretty decent army. It's not bad. Now, that is it for this video. We actually only have 2 more armies left to look at, so we're going to have a look at them in the next one. But for now, thank you very much for watching, and I will catch you next time. Bye bye now.